Just see what this cop is going to do. So there is a traffic violation, alleged traffic violation, which is being spoken about here. This is Siddharth Nagar in Uttar Pradesh. And that's a cop who has held the person who could not produce documents. So he wanted the bike to be held, and then see what happens suddenly. The man who could not produce the documents, on the allegation and on the pretext that he was creating a ruckus, is being beaten. And I go a step further by saying that you may have heard of mob lynching. I would say this is cop lynching, which is happening in Uttar Pradesh. Look at the way these cops are behaving. I mean, this was a reputation that in erstwhile United Provinces, there was a force in UP which was called the Provincial Armed Constabulary. They were infamous of doing this. It seems that suddenly the UP cops had the DNA of the Provincial Armed Constabulary in them. The way they are treating a person for a traffic violation. Now, this is no way to use the strong arm of the law. I don't think this is the strong arm of the law. Sitting on top of an alleged traffic violator. Look what is happening as of this moment. They're pulling his hair, sitting on top of him, and all this while a little boy, he would not be more than 5 years old. He's watching all of this. This visual itself should be a matter of huge shame. Look at this. This little boy crying right here, seeing his uncle being beaten up by the police. I'm just saying to anyone watching this visual and the sort of response that we have got on our social media platforms ever since we put out this video has been overwhelming. Our heart is in the right place and people do feel that the guilty must be brought to book. And in this case, it is these two cops. What has been the response of the UP police? The response has been templated. What does the UP police do when they're caught? They, number one, suspend the cops. Then there is a departmental inquiry. Then it goes on, and then these cops are reinstated back into the system. That same template has started all over again. This time around, do not treat this as a case of just suspension or departmental inquiry. Treat it as a case of the police indulging in cop lynching, in police excesses. Will a criminal case be registered against these two cops? Will they be sacked and tried in a court of law? Because if the UP police does not do this, then they will have no faith. People will have no faith in the UP police. In fact, people will not have faith in the policing system in this country because cops are infamous all over the country for doing something similar. This was just recorded. Imagine the number of cases that have not been recorded. This story you will find prominently being covered on all NDTV platforms because we feel that visuals like these bring us a bad name. Visuals like these are a human rights violation. It is visuals like these that are a classic textbook example of injustice in this country. And this, no sane person is going to ever allow. So join us in this initiative right here on NDTV on our various platforms. Let's bring the guilty to book. Let's force the UP government, let's force the Yogi Adityanath government to take criminal action against these cops, charge them in the severest sections of the law so that no cop ever thinks of doing something similar. There is no police manual that dictates that the cops have to behave like this. If he was allegedly indulging in a rowdy act, then you could have handcuffed him, put him in your jeep, taken him away, put him in detention. That's the police protocol. The police protocol does not mean that you become a lynch mob, that the cops become lynch mobs. That is not what the police manual says. So it will be interesting to see what the UP police does. As of this moment, they have chosen to follow the template. We'll also, through the course of the day, try to speak to various ministers as well as senior police officials in the UP government to get you the latest on this particular story. So this is a huge story that we are going to track right here all through the day on on NDTV. Apart from that, there is another big story that we are tracking. Odd even is back. For anyone who's in Delhi, he would know that what is the good about odd even and what is the horror about odd even. Let's first talk about the good. The first time it was implemented, the first time ever, odd even did deliver certain results. But those results were not so much about tackling pollution. The intention behind introducing odd even scheme was to handle or tackle pollution. Another benefit, or sort of a blessing in disguise, was the fact that initially for the first 15 days there was great easing of traffic on the road. Then subsequently the next year when it was implemented, even that vanished because there were a lot of exemptions. There were more exemptions than the norm. Then odd even was put on hold. And now odd even is going to be back. We are expecting that in the month of November, it is going to come back. Now, why November, you ask? Well, Delhi has, and to its credit, Delhi has been able to register 25% less pollution as opposed to last year. So the year-on-year pollution has actually decreased by 25% rather than increasing. But there is a rider. While we've been able to achieve all of this, it is this crucial month, the winter months, when winter sets in, and then the period between November, December and January. That's the period when fog sets in, winter sets in, is also when smog sets in. Why does that happen? Because there is stubble burning that happens in Punjab, in Haryana, in western Uttar Pradesh. The farmers don't have any incentives to dispose of their paddy stubble. There is a huge raging debate for the past 5 years as to why governments are not stopping the paddy stubble burning. The farmers say that we do not have an alternative to burning. It's very expensive to do away or dispose the paddy stubble, and that's why the easiest thing to do to prepare your field for the next crop is to burn it. But what is the byproduct? Number one, it is leading to pollution in the neighboring areas of Delhi, and because of the wind movement, all of that pollution travels in Delhi. And because you've got a climatic condition as of that moment in those 3 months where winds stop blowing, where you have the air which is completely trapped, and because of fog, the air is completely trapped in Delhi. So all that smog, all that smoke comes into Delhi and stays there. Thus, the pollution levels go as high as something, just imagine, something which is supposed to be 50 suddenly becomes 1000 or 1200. We're talking about the air quality index levels, AQI levels. This is the reason why, and preempting this, and that too very crucially because this is all happening very close to the Delhi election, which is likely to take place in February 2020, the Delhi government, led by the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, have decided that odd even is going to come back. He feels that all these initiatives need to be taken because in an election year, if pollution levels increase, his neck is going to be on the line. Perhaps that's one criticism. On his part, he feels that, hey, I'm the Chief Minister and I'm at least acting. That's the least I can do. You've got neighboring states, some of them ruled by the Bharatiya Janata Party, when we talk about Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, some ruled by the Congress if we talk about Punjab, and none of these state governments are doing anything to control the paddy stubble. In fact, in various coordination meetings, all these state chief ministers have said we can't do anything. We will fine these farmers if they burn paddy stubble. We will also incentivize alternatives, but none of that seems to have worked, and that is why you see that most of these governments have been accused of appeasing farmers, where they do not really act against the farmers and go soft on farmers when they burn the paddy stubble. So while all of this is happening, odd even is going to come back in Delhi. One really doesn't know how effective an odd even scheme is going to be. Of course, Kejriwal in a press conference today said that new buses are going to be added, public transport is going to be spruced up, but will odd even be successful? There will be the usual exemptions, but will it be successful? Apart from causing inconvenience, is it something which can be done by the citizens of Delhi? Of course, that will be Diwali time. That's again more pollution time. One of the things that I've always maintained as far as Diwali is concerned and cracker bursting is concerned, it's very clear that I've been getting a bit of an update. So there is a YouTube poll. Thank you very much. So my colleague tells me that there is a YouTube poll on this, and I'll come back to Diwali in just a short moment. The YouTube poll that we are carrying out is, and this is very significant, on the odd-even scheme. I was talking about the context in which odd-even has been implemented. Now let's talk politics. So the Delhi Chief Minister has implemented this scheme, and you've got the Union Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari, who says that it's not really going to work. He believes it's not going to work and it's not required. Well, it is an inconvenience. It is. But will it work or not? That debate is still on. So we are asking this question in a YouTube poll. Do you think that odd-even in Delhi is going to work? Yes or no? Those options shall be made available to you. So then you can vote and tell us what you exactly feel. Do you think it is good or it is bad? Okay, that being said, now let's come back to Diwali. The problem with Diwali is that bursting of crackers is often seen as a celebration, a mark of festivities, and to each time when this issue has been raised that you should not burst crackers, especially in a gas chamber like Delhi, people have gone up in arms saying that you're not allowing us to celebrate our own festival, right? So what do people do? Well, my take on this is, when the pollution months are here and when you burst crackers, the air quality is not going to identify a Hindu lung, Muslim lung, Parsi lung, Christian lung, right? It is going to affect us all. And since we're a Hindu majority country, it is going to harm Hindus more. So it is harmful for your lung, right? Festivities aside, it is harmful. Now, I'm not going to go any further because, I'll have to trudge cautiously as far as this debate is concerned. I've debated this enough on various other platforms, and I'm happy to debate this again when Diwali is around the corner. But I strongly feel that don't value yourself, at least value your lung. It can't speak for itself. Okay, so that's story number 2, and very quickly, if I were to tell you about story number 3, I forgot what was it about. Maybe my colleagues can tell me what exactly was the story. So these two stories are very prominently being mentioned here on NDTV, on the various platforms. So the story number 3, I have just been reminded, is plastic, which is again a very, very important focus right here on NDTV. Only yesterday, I interviewed the Union Consumer Affairs Minister, Ramvilas Paswan. Now, you would wonder, why did I do so? Well, he is leading the charge as far as the government's initiatives on banning single-use plastic and looking for alternatives to single-use plastic. Now, has the government been able to do either? No, that's the honest answer. Single-use plastic has not been banned. However, the government has announced that it will wage a war on single-use plastic, which means that they will discourage the use of single-use plastic. That initiative has already begun. On the 2nd of October, we may hear the Prime Minister make a statement. When will it be banned? We do not know, but we were told yesterday by the Minister it will be done in a phased manner. Number 2, what about the alternatives? Well, as of this moment, there is, and this is really the big stumbling block, because had there been a viable alternative, that alternative would have been accepted by the people. You have a plastic industry which says that if you remove single-use plastic, if you just ban before having an alternative plan, it is going to lead to a loss of life, it is going to lead to a loss of livelihood of a lot of people, industries will shut down, and what is the plan? I asked this question of the minister, where he says that the businessmen have a way with words and they would try to convince you that whatever the government is trying to do is not right, and they would predict a doomsday scenario. He feels that ban and plan have to go simultaneously, because if only these two things go together is when we'll actually feel the need and the urge to look for an alternative. Otherwise, you'll have members of the plastic industry who will continue to tell you that we need it, and there is absolutely no alternative. Globally, and this debate has been going on since we've been debating on various platforms here on NDTV, there is also a debate on looking for biodegradable plastic. See, what's the criticism of single-use plastic? That it does not biodegrade. So what if we start working on biodegradable plastic. Can that be an alternative? Or should we look at a completely new alternative? Will science and innovation give us the reply? And how soon will it give us the reply? Well, the government is on war footing to do away with single-use plastic. And we'll continue to monitor all the developments. I'll continue to get you what is inside the mind of the government as far as single-use plastic is concerned. Whether your water bottle, and I'm guilty right here, let me just show you. I'm guilty right here of using a PET bottle to drink water. The government feels, but this is not single use. Yeah, I'm using it again and again. So the government feels that I'm safe, but generally they feel that you must replace this with something else. Maybe a copper bottle, maybe a glass bottle. But why did we replace the glass bottle with this? It was not durable. It will fall down, it will break. This won't. That's why it existed. So where is the alternative? So the government feels that we have to start looking for alternatives. Maybe as far as mineral water bottles are concerned, they could be replaced with Tetra Paks. That's one of the considerations. That's one of the options that the government is considering. The plastic mineral water bottle industry is also going to impress upon the government on what they feel are the problems, and the government is going to tell them to continue to look for alternatives. Anyway, the point that we are trying to make over here is that this is going to be a very, very interesting debate and a very interesting development, and you can catch all the latest right here on NDTV. That's a wrap in this edition of YouTube Live. I'll see you again. Goodbye.